To graph this, we're going to start off by just factoring both the numerator and the denominator, because a lot of information comes from the factored form. So in the numerator, we can factor. We need two numbers that multiply to be negative 8 and that add to be negative 2. And that's negative 4 and positive 2. And then in our denominator, we can just pull out I'm going to pull out a negative x, and we're left with an x minus 3. All right, our vertical asymptotes come from when the denominator is equal to 0. So that's x equals 0 from here. And then from this factor, x minus 3, we get x equals 3. So those are our vertical asymptotes. We get our x-intercepts from setting the numerator equal to 0. So that's x equals 4 from there, and then x equals a negative 2 from there. And then we get our y-intercepts by plugging in x equals 0. Problem is, x equals 0 is a vertical asymptote. It's not in the domain. Right? We're not allowed to plug it in because we would then be divided by 0. So there are no y-intercepts. Okay, that's all the information that we can get from the factored form. For the horizontal asymptote, okay, if there is one, we will look at the degree of the numerator and the degree of the denominator. And they're both the same here. Okay, it's x squared on top over x squared on bottom. That tells us that the horizontal asymptote is going to be y equals, and then it's the leading coefficients. The number in front of that x squared is 1. In front of that x squared is negative 1. So it's 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. Alright, so now we're ready to kind of plot some things that we have here. So we'll start with our asymptotes, just to plot them. So x equals 0 is the axis, so go ahead and dash that. Hopefully you can see it. I'm doing it in red so that it'll show up over the axis. Okay, and we've got x equals 3 as well. So if I go over to 3, 1, 2, 3, I do an asymptote there. Okay. We'll do our horizontal asymptote as well. That's y equals a negative 1. So we'll go ahead and do that asymptote across. Okay, and then we'll plot our intercepts. X equals positive 4. That's right there. And then x equals negative 2. That's right there. Alright, now based on what we see here, we can start to sketch. So on the left side, we need to follow this asymptote and then follow this asymptote, and we better go through that point. So that looks like we're going to be above this asymptote and then kind of go up there. And so there's our curve, the first branch of the function. For this middle portion, okay, we have got a lot of different options. We could, start up here and then come down there, or start down here and come up here. Or we could start up and then turn around and go up, or start down and come down. Two of those we can rule out because we're not crossing this axis. So we can't start up here and then come down, or can't start down here and then come up. But we may be up here and turn around, or down here and turn around. An easy way to figure that out is just plug a value of x in. So here we've got between 0 and 3, you can plug any number in except for 0 or 3. I'm just going to go ahead and plug in 1. And so if we plug 1 into this original function, okay, f of 1, 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8, or negative 1 squared plus 3 times 1. That's negative 9 over 2. So that's down. Okay, it's negative. So we're down here, and so we've got to start low and then turn around. And so, you know, something like that. And we don't really know exactly how far it goes up. We do know this one point that at 1, at x equals 1, y is negative 9 halves, which is negative 4.5. So maybe even a little bit lower. Okay. So if I want to just go through that point, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Okay. That's really all I can do. So I can label that point 1, negative 9 halves. Okay, and then for this next portion of the graph, we've got this point, and we're above this asymptote here from that point, and so it looks like we're just going to kind of have the flip of what we had on the left side. So up here, and then go through that point, and turn and follow that asymptote. And there's a sketch of this graph, and we've got our asymptotes, which we can label if you'd like. So this was y equals negative 1, x equals 3, x equals 0.